Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert, and joining me is my co-host, Joel Meyer. Joel, we had Hoodie Joel on Wednesday. We got Glasses Joel here on Friday night. How's it going?
And a toque.
That's your Saints too. Classic Saints.
Yeah, and it was a Saints hoodie too on Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah, I mentioned the rain. The rain is here, and it's a bit chilly, but I don't mind at all. And yeah, I've got the glasses on because I'm watching our Winnipeg Blue Bombers play the lowly Hamilton Tiger Cats. Yeah, it's early on, but things are looking positive for the old Bombers. But I'll be tuned into this game. But yeah, I've got a kind of a funny story.
Did you lose your phone again, Joel?
No. My phone is fine. It's related to my phone, I guess. So last night I was lying in bed, kind of fading off to sleep, and then I noticed this blue light, this blue screen thing light up in the corner of my room, and I looked down on the floor, like where my phone is. Like, it's not my phone. My phone's down there. All my other phones are in my fucking drawer, shut off. So what is this? So I take off my phone and I shine it in the corner there, and it's a scale. And
you have a scale just under your bed?
No, I don't know. I haven't checked my weight in a while. It's just chilling there in the corner of the room. So I'm thinking for a few seconds. Oh, I know what happened. It's the fucking mouse.
Mouse. You have a mouse?
Yeah. It's an old building here. We got lots of holes. Sometimes they make their appearance when the weather gets colder, like now. And yeah, so sure enough, like a couple minutes later, I hear a little skirting around. Oh, so I get the broom and I chase him out of my bedroom. But yeah, now I know I got a little trap there, like a little alert system for when the mouse is crawling through there. You set off the scale.
Yeah, like for me, like we have 3 cats. Like I'm used to just hearing random shit, like chewing plastic. They love to chew plastic in the middle of the night. But yeah, you got a mouse there setting off some lights. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I should get a cat, but then it's a different issue. Just taking care of the cat just to kill the mouse. So
yeah,
whatever. I got my broom.
Yeah, your broom's good enough. You can ride your broom. All right, top here. Make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and review heading into the new season. We greatly appreciate it. It helps the show grow. Also, make sure you are subscribed on YouTube as well. We go live there for all of our shows. Get in the chat if you are there. Follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. And I said it last show, but if you're looking to get involved in the show at all, hit us up there on Twitter or hit me up on Twitter at rgilbertsop, and we can discuss that. Also, the Discord is still chugging along, sg.pn/Discord. I'll get in there in the hockey channel. And of course, make sure you check out the flagship show in the college football experience for week 0 picks. Got college football in less than 15 hours now with kickoff of week 0 on Saturday. And for that, everything in the merch store is 10% off with promo code football. Make sure you check out some of our Hockey Gambling Podcast merch in the merch store with that 10% off code. It's only been 2 days since we last recorded, but the decent bit of news since then. Yaroslav Askarov requested a trade from the Predators, and they found a trade partner in the San Jose Sharks. They got a 2025 first-round pick, which is likely going to be the Vegas Golden Knights pick that they got for Tomas Hertl. David Edstrom, who was the first-round pick, 32nd overall of the Golden Knights last year, and Magnus Krona, young goalie, probably fight for some time in the AHL there. And, Shark got a few other guys there, but Askarov is kind of the big one they had Mackenzie Blackwood and Vitek Vanacek in net, but they have no reason to not give it to Askarov.
Yeah, that's a pretty big haul, though, getting Askarov out of there. This is a goalie they were high on. He was pretty good, too, for the Milwaukee Admirals last year in the AHL. And the writing was on the wall, though, when they signed Wedgwood to 2-3 years, I think, at least for this year. So he was clearly not going to get a lot of time in the NHL this year, and clearly he wants to play, so hence the trade request. And of course, they just signed UC Saros a long-term deal as well, so not a clear path for Askarov in the near future to get any playing time. So it makes sense from his perspective. I have to assume that the Predators know what they're doing when they're pulling those moves. I guess they trust their current situation, and yeah, I guess they don't really love Askarov. even if you have a good goalie, of course, in Saros, you'd still want to keep an elite goalie prospect like Askarov on the books and keep developing him. But I guess not as high on him as maybe the rest of the NHL is. But getting that big of a haul though for him, for a guy who's sent in a trade request is pretty good. Like David Edstrom is a very good prospect. Remember looking into him during the draft season, and of course another first round pick, even from the Knights, who of course will be a lot better than the Sharks next year. Very good, I think, for the Predators to make out this way, but also good for the Sharks. I mean, it's not a total one-way trade here. Getting a goalie of the future for them, I like it for them as well. I mean, they have absolutely nothing in the pipeline in terms of goalie prospects other than the time death. What did we call him? Magnus Krona. I don't know. We had some nickname for him before.
We had something. I've heard. It's a great name, Magnus Krona.
He wasn't good last year, but of course, he only played 5 or 6 games as a rookie, so you can't fault him too much anyway. But yeah, good deal for both sides. So I think that the Predators made out the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last show. Buying the Predators, hoping they get some roster help for right now. Maybe that first round pick goes for a deal at the deadline. They now have 3 first round picks in next year's draft. Their own, the Lightning's pick from the Tanner Jeannot trade last year, and then the Golden Knights pick. So going to have 3 picks in probably second half of the draft, but second half of the first round, because still trade those for a rental or move up there or something. David Edstrom, looks like a solid 2-way center in the SHL. Still 19 years old, Swedish, so maybe he can spend some time with Forsberg if he makes the league soon enough. But yeah, Predators, they had to get Askarov out of there. Decent haul for him, yeah. So, but the big point is San Jose now gets the goalie of the future. Like we talked about, I mentioned maybe Chicago as to grow with Bedard, but Sharks now got Celebrini, Will Smith, now got Askarov here. So I'm sure we'll talk about the Sharks more when we're talking about which teams were fading and which team could potentially be the worst team in the league. So anything else here before we move on to the next topic?
No, I think we covered it all.
All right. And then another update on Friday. Demko, multiple sources say Thatcher Demko won't be ready for training camp and preseason games. The club is hopeful he is ready to go for the regular season opener. But even that seems to be in question at this late stage in the summer. That was from Vancouver reporter. What's his first name? Rick Dhaliwal? Is that his first name? Rick
Dhaliwal. Dali, yes.
Yeah. So, their backups, Artur Silovs. I don't think they have another. They have Yuri Patera under contract too. What's the feelings in Vancouver here with Demko?
Oh, tons of concern, of course, because if it was just a first-time thing, it'd be less of an issue. But of course, 2 seasons in a row where he suffered significant injuries, so it's clearly a problem. I mean, he plays a very violent style, the way he flops down, violent movements, and he's such a big guy too. It's very hard on the body, and that's what leads to these persistent injuries. But at his best, of course, he's a Vezina caliber goalie, and not having him for the start of the season is a major issue, of course. So I hear that the Canucks are potentially looking at someone like Kevin Lankinen. He's probably the best goalie still available, but I'm hearing that he wants to naturally have a more prominent role. He doesn't want to just be a backup. So if they do sign him, it'd be kind of a sign that they would promise him ice time, which would mean that Demko's out for a more substantial amount of time. So it'd be like a bittersweet kind of signing. Good news is you get Lankinen, and bad news is that Demko's going to be out fairly long term if you're promising Lankinen ice time in order to sign him here. So yeah, it's concerning times for sure. I mean, thankfully it happens now, and he's got a lot of time to recover. But playoffs, even for goalies, it's hard on their bodies as well, playing every night and facing a lot of shots, of course, high stress situations. So just hope he's good for the playoffs, because they're not winning with Yuri Patera and Artur Silovs. That's for sure. So yeah, Demko, hopefully it's nothing to last more than, the first month of the season at worst.
Yeah, I was looking up the remaining free agent goalies while we were talking there. Kevin Lankinen's the best. Antti Ranta's there, but he's 35. Magic Hands Marty Jones, but he's 34. And then
I heard he retired.
Did he? Martin Jones?
I heard that. Somebody mentioned that. I don't know if it's true.
And then your friend Ivan Prosvetov is out there as well.
I think he went back to Russia.
Oh, did he? Prosvetov?
Yeah.
Well, Puckpedia doesn't say that. It says he has no NHL contract and is a UFA. So that's what I'm going based off. Maybe Vancouver snags one of Blackwood or Vanacek from San Jose, or they wait to see if someone gets waived closer to the season. Because you don't want to get. I mean, Lankinen should sign with Vancouver, winning team. At worst case, he's the backup, and they're not going to start Demko more than 50 games, if that. So he'll still get 30 games. So I don't know what Kevin Lankinen's thinking, but I could definitely see a fit there between him and the Canucks.
He's probably waiting for some other goalie to get injured or something long term. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, he would have signed by now.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right, we talked more about the Canucks last show. Teams we are buying here. I'm going to get into some teams we're selling. Before that, going to do the worst record in the league. But before that, we are shouting out our advertisers here. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em gives you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry, or play fantasy football the right way with Best Ball Mania. Best Ball Mania Live is live and is giving away $15 million in prizes. You can now use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. So sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code HGP. And make sure you check out Circa Sports Circa Millions. Circa Sports is back with a Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football. Ryan and Sean are out there this weekend. So get a flight, get a red eye, get out there. Use promo code SGP15 to save 15% on your hotel room for sign-up weekend. For the Survivor pool, you have to sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th. Then you can use a proxy to play from anywhere. And if you sign up at proxy.footballcontest.com, you can save $50 with promo code SGP and get a free hat. All right, let me get the odds up here on the screen for the worst record in the league. The favorites here are the Sharks at plus 175. We got the Blue Jackets at plus 450, Ducks plus 600, Blackhawks 8-1, Canadians 14-1, Flames 18-1, and then I'm not reading off the rest. No, Flyers 30-1, Blues 30-1.
Keep going.
Penguins, where are the Penguins at?
Keep going.
Penguins 60-1.
Keep going.
Sens 75-1.
Where are they? They're not on the list.
Who?
Washington Capitals.
Are they not here? Washington Capitals 40-1.
Oh, 40-1. Okay. Nah. It's
they're probably better elsewhere. I just put up ESPN bet here because they have the best odds for the top 5 or 6.
You're right. They are definitely better.
Yeah.
I saw 50 for the Capitals. I'm not even betting that. I'm just saying if it were a team to fall apart, I think the Capitals would be one because a couple injuries and they could just spiral. And if Lindgren does not play as well as he did last year, but anyway, we could talk about the Capitals later on as one of the teams fading quite clearly. If I'm entertaining the idea of them being the worst in the league, but no, these are pretty good odds here. I do not have access to this book, but if I did, I would definitely be looking at the Blackhawks here at 8-1 for sure.
They're 6-1 elsewhere, about 365.
Yeah, even 6-1 I think is appealing. I don't know if they're that much better than the Sharks this year. I mean, the Sharks probably on paper got a little better with their offseason moves. And the Blackhawks, of course, they brought in Bertuzzi, Teravainen, another year of Bedard and all that. But I know they get some terrible injury like last year. Of course, they'll get Taylor Hall back and a couple other guys that missed almost the whole season. So they'll definitely be healthier, but the difference between them is still not that great. I don't think so. The Blackhawks 8-1. It's got interest, and the Blue Jackets plus 450. I think those are the two teams you want it back here. I mean, the Sharks, they are still the worst team in the league. It's hard to go from how terrible they were last year to something resembling a middling team this year. So I don't expect a massive boost for them. So that's why they're at plus 175 here. But at the odds, at price, I think the Blue Jackets and the Blackhawks should be the teams you want to look at in this market.
Yeah, completely agreed there. I'm mainly focusing on these top 5 or 6 because I was trying to find, like, what's the longest odds that has had the worst record in the league, but it's only been, tracked over the past few years. Last year, Sharks were plus 275. Year before, Ducks were 16 to 1. And then in 2021, last year it was available, Sabres were 18 to 1. So, maybe you can go up to that. I mean, we like the Canadians at 14 to 1. Maybe the Flames. I mean, excuse the pun, but they might flame out with Justin Wolf in net. Dustin Wolf in
To
net.
clarify, we like the Canadians.
Yes, we
We
like
don't
the
like them.
Canadians.
We don't like them for this
Yes,
market.
yes,
Yes.
we like the Canadians this season with
Right.
Martin St. Louis. But yeah, like you said, Blackhawks at 8 to 1, at 6 to 1, 650 are still pretty good. Do like the additions of Bertuzzi and Larry Brossoit backing up Peter Mrazek, decent tandem in net. Got Teravainen back, Alec Martinez, good veteran defenseman. Another year of Bedard. I know a few of the other young superstars took big jumps in their sophomore seasons. It also helps that he's going to be ideally for the Blackhawks healthy all season. But still, 8 to 1. I think in that division, I think they definitely have a chance to bottom out there. I think the Yotes got better. Don't love the Wild, don't love the Blues, but still a tough division with Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, and Nashville. Yeah, hate Columbus. I mean, the Metro. I think the other 7 teams are all, at least you can make an argument to make the playoffs. But Blue Jackets are complete basement dwellers there. So plus 450. And Ducks, I think we're kind of high on the Ducks this season. I don't think they can bottom out with how much young talent they have right now.
Yeah, the Ducks are. I wouldn't say I'm high on them, but I like the potential of this team, and I figure one of these years they're going to take off. So I'm not gonna pick them here at 6 to 1. If I had to make one bet in this market, I think it would be just the Blackhawks 8 to 1. I do think that's just too much respect for this team, given the fact that they were almost as bad as the Sharks last year, albeit with massive injuries. But still, I don't think they improved that much, and they're in a tough division. Of course, the Central continues to get better. So yeah, Blackhawks 8 to 1. The Flames though at 18 to 1 is kind of appealing as well, just because they lost so much talent last year. I don't like the coach. They lost Markstrom in the offseason too. So if Dustin Wolf isn't a player that could be Markstrom was the only reason why they weren't letting in 5-6 goals a game last year. Their defense was that bad. So 18 to 1 is kind of appealing, but I haven't bet this market yet. But if I did right now, it'd only be the Blackhawks there at 8 to 1.
Yeah, fully agree. That's the best bet. I want to go back. Maybe Archer can do this. Put him on another project of like, what's the most a team has dropped from one year to the next to be the worst team? Because can a team that was in the top 2/3 drop far enough to be the absolute worst? Besides
the Avalanche,
maybe a shortened season. That was what, like a decade ago, though.
Well, it's still in the salary cap era.
Yeah,
it can happen. That's why these odds are so crazy long. But
yeah.
I don't remember their record before they just fell apart that year.
What year was that? 14, 15?
Yeah, I remember I was in Romania staying up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning watching this shitty team lose every game.
14, 15, they had 90 points.
And then 15, 16 was like 49, 48.
And then 15, 16, they had 82.
Oh, what year
were they shipped? They were shipped before that?
I was in Romania, so it was 15, 16, I'm pretty sure. Or 16, 17?
16, 17, they had 48 points, worse than the league.
There you go. So that's
year before that, 2015,
32,
16, they had 82. They were still a bottom 10 team. They were 21st out of 30.
34 drop points, right, from one year to the next.
Yeah.
Is my math right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 82 to 48 is 34 points. Yeah. The precedent's there. Precedent's there, but I think with the Sharks, the thing with Askarov that being in San Jose, I feel like increases their volatility. Like, he could be good, so the Sharks could be good, or he could be bad, and the Sharks can just be like, all right, he's our goalie of the future. Let him ride this out, and they can go with that.
I'd protect him. It's like a football quarterback. You don't want to throw him to the wolves and just let him get eaten up, lose all his confidence. So I wouldn't let him play like more than 40 games at most if the Sharks are as bad as we were last year, close to it.
Yeah, I think I saw Mike Greer said he might just carry 3 goalies to start the year. So maybe he'll just give Askarov half the net, and then the veterans can battle for the other half.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, then. I want to move on to the teams we are selling this season. Any particular division you want to start with?
Oh, we can start with the Pacific, I guess.
All right.
With
Start
the
out
Sharks, we get them out of
Yeah.
the way.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I basically explained this already. They just, I don't think that they got significantly better, despite a couple nice additions, veterans, but I don't think they moved the needle enough to get them. With the point total is like 63, 64 and a half. And they finished with 47 last year. I don't think that they can improve like a full 20 points almost, just given their off-season acquisitions. Plus, yeah, Macklin Celebrini, he's going to be very good. He should have had more hype if he didn't come the year after Bedard. He would have had more hype. So he's going to be excellent, but he's not going to be quite the impact that Bedard had. And look at the Blackhawks. I know Bedard missed time and all that, but they still were a 50-point team or so. So yeah, I don't think the Sharks improved that much to deserve a mid-60s point total. So I like to back the Sharks to go on to their point total there. And then look at their worst record. They're plus 175 to finish with their worst record, and their point total is only a couple points worse than last year. So, and they went 20 points clear of that as well. So I like the Sharks under there.
Yeah, Sharks, this is where you fade them as in the point total market. Under 63.5 is at minus 105. And 47 points last year. Yeah. Adding Celebrini will be good. Adding even Cody Ceci, Jake Wallman, Tyler Toffoli, Will Smith making the NHL now. They'll be fun. Might have some fun games out there, especially Sharks Ducks games could just hopefully be fun in the California rivalry. But I don't see them improving by 17 points, which is more than a third improvement from their points last year. So I like that for under 63.5 there.
Yeah, good point. More than a third of the points they had last year. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Another one in the Pacific for me. Yeah, Flames under 80.5 points. Rookie goalie, not much improvement outside of that. Maybe Wolf comes in and is on fire and is decent for the Flames, but under 80.5 points. I think they had 81 last year. And like you said before, Markstrom won most of those. To miss the playoffs, minus 330 seems like a decent parlay piece if you're into the
minus 130?
Minus 330. 330.
Oh, okay. I see.
If you're into the Joel future parlay strategy, I feel like it's a decent leg to get some odds up.
Yeah, there's no way they're making the playoffs. Yeah, I was going to say, you go to Riverbet or FoxBet or StreamBet or whatever you use to find that.
Wind Creek. Wind Creek was.
Wind Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, love the Flames under. It's already getting bet down if it's at 80.5 there. So yeah, get on that horse because they are going to be bad. Like I said before, they lost a lot of talent and don't have one of the best goalies in the league anymore who kept them afloat last year. I don't think Dustin Wolf is quite ready to maintain that workload. And man, who's the other goalie in net there? I should know.
Dan Vladar.
Is this Vladar again?
Vladar's still there. Yeah, I looked it up before.
Yeah, he's no good. I mean, he had like half a good season, but he's not a starter. So yeah, I think that this line should be like 76.5. Honestly, the Flames are not going to be good. I mean, watch this be the year that they just break my heart and just scores win like 40 games and get in the playoffs with 98 points, something like that. Oh, that'd be the ultimate Flames.
That would happen to you, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about it more. They're like, yeah, they don't have Hanifin anymore. They don't have Lindholm anymore. They don't have Markstrom anymore. Arguably their best player at each position, forward, defense, and goalie. Uyghur's fine. Rasmus Anderson's decent. They have Huberdeau there still. Connor Zary and Pospisil, your boys there coming up. But I don't see them reaching 81 with missing 3 key players.
Yeah, I like some of the young guys like Jacob Pelletier too. He missed most of last season with some kind of – wasn't an injury. It was some kind of blood clotting or something like that anyway. And I think he only played like 6 games towards the end of the year. So I like the young guys coming up, but they're not enough. They're not good enough to maintain the kind of level here to even come close to flirting with the playoffs. Of course, Sharon Govich had a career year last year, scored a whole whack of goals. Anyway, it seemed like every time I turned the Flames game on, he was
a whole whack of them.
Yeah, he came over from the Devils in the trade for Toffoli, I believe, and
so.
yeah, he connected with the fellow Russian Kuzmenko. Actually, Sharangovich might be Belarusian. Either way, those guys were playing on the same line together. Played well. So yeah, they'll be competitive. I don't think that they'll quite bottom out. That's why they're 18-1 to finish with the worst record. But I just don't see them getting into the 80s here for their points total, especially with their they lost their major strength last year, which was Jacob Markstrom, and without him, it's everything. And they would have gone under the point total for most point totals out there last year. And they had Tanev last year. They had Lindholm for half the season. They had
Forgot about Tanev too. Yeah,
it was Zadorov part of the season as well. They lost all these guys, and they didn't really replace them. Who did they get? I remember they brought in
Anthony Mantha is one of their key additions, I think.
Yeah, Mantha, and there was one other guy.
Jake Bean, Devin Cooley, and Ryan Lambert.
Jake Bean. Okay.
Yeah. Also lost Shillington. Shillington's gone too.
Yeah, I think the Avalanche picked him up. Yeah, it's going to be a bleak year, but the Flames do have to pay off their new arena, so they do have to be somewhat competitive. And yeah, so I think that the mid 70s is likely where they land.
Yeah, if you're looking to fade one more team in this division, I would maybe look at the Oilers under 108.5. They had 104 points last year. Wear and tear from the long playoff run, downgrades on defense. Stuart Skinner might have some wear and tear, so maybe look there. They are looking to add a right-handed defenseman. Saw reports today like Shattenkirk or Tyson Berry could go back there. So keep an eye on that. But they needed a 17-game win streak to get 104 points. So wouldn't mind the under there if you're a season-long bettor.
I agree with that somewhat. The only problem is they had such a terrible start last year that they're going to be coming out of the gates firing this year. Like they can't let the same thing happen to them 2 years in a row where they're losing to the aforementioned Sharks as minus 600 favorites at close. Yeah, so the Oilers under, I don't mind that either way though, even with the that in the back of their minds. And yeah, just firing up quick runs. We'll go more in depth in these teams later on, but the Golden Knights and the Kings, I think both their unders are decent looks as well. They're both Knights around 99.5, Kings 96, 97.5. I don't love either team right now, so yeah, just little leans there for now. I only bet the Kings one, not the Knights one yet anyway.
Yeah, I feel like Kings, they're due for 1 year where they're not as good as we think. We never think they're going to be as good as they are. I was gonna throw them on here, but looking at their numbers last year, expected goals against was the 6th best in the league. They were a great possession team, but they have to get the lead, so they have to be able to score. And I don't know if I trust Darcy Kemper in net, but it's not like they had much better last year.
Yeah, well, actually, no. Remember we bet what's his name?
I mean, Talbot was killing it. Yeah, for 3 months.
Yeah. They were a lot better in the first part of the season. A lot of those expected goals numbers were boosted and anchored by the first half of the season. They were terrible in the second half of the season, and they just they play the same way against good teams and bad teams, and they just can't blow out bad teams. So all these bad teams get beating them. So the Kings are a mess under. I don't like their coach. I don't like their GM. Just a poorly organized team right now. Another year for Doughty and Kopitar, who played again at a great level last year, but another year under their tires. It's not ideal.
Yeah, I know they have Byfield making another year. They have Clark in the NHL now, but yeah, they're due for at least one miss the playoff season coming up here in the next few. All right, let's go over to the Central. Let's start right there with the Blackhawks. Their point total is at 74.5 after having 52 last year. Joel, what are you taking there?
Yeah. Well, we like for the worst record, the under 73, under 74.5. Great bet, I think. Again, projecting more than 20 points increase on last year. Why? Just because they got Taylor Hall back and a couple other guys, and bringing in Teravainen, bringing in Tyler Bertuzzi, who wasn't great with the Leafs last year. So, I don't quite understand this line. Still have the same useless goalie in net, Peter Mrazek. Sure, you get Bedard hopefully for the whole season. He missed a month and a half or so last year, but no, I don't like this at all. I don't get why they are projected to improve so much. So yeah, definitely love this. I don't see them getting close to 73, 74 points. So I quite like that under. yeah, I don't. The coach is the same. I don't understand why they're supposed to be this much better.
Yeah, I mean, adding Bertuzzi, adding Tara Vining, adding a few NHL level wingers rather than having AHL level wingers in your lineup is going to help. But defense still isn't great. Not going to be 23 points better than they were last year, I don't think. And I think also this division overall got kind of better, at least the top four teams, or top three: Dallas, Colorado, Nashville. There, Jets are in there as always every year. Wild or the Blues, one of them are going to be better than we think. Utah Yotes could be decent. So yeah, just fade the Blackhawks here. This is a situation where I wish they had like team to not reach 70 points, team to not reach 60 points, like how they have the 90 point, 100 point alt totals. I wish they had like alt totals for lower teams.
Yeah, like NFL win totals. Give us some alt point totals. That'd be nice. But we're spoiled.
Do they have alt win totals? Like, can you go like under 4.5 on a team that had 7.5?
Yeah, at least 2 wins, lower or higher. Okay. Yeah, I think we're spoiled though, because NHL they used to have these wide menus all the time, especially in season where you can get now. So we gotta take it one step at a time. We're just always behind the NFL. Like when NFL has something, the NHL betting menus will have it a few years later. So eventually we'll get there.
Yeah. Another team I'm looking at to fade here is the Minnesota Wild. They're plus 120 to miss the playoffs. You can get under 94.5 points at plus 100. They still have the dead cap hit of the Parise and Suter buyouts. 87 points last year, which missed the playoffs by 12 points. I still think the 4 teams ahead of them are definitely ahead of them: Dallas, Colorado, Nashville, and Winnipeg. Also have goalie questions. I know they have Gustafsson, they have Fleury, they have Wallstead as well coming up as a prospect. So could be some, consternation there in net. Also, just don't think they're a very good hockey team right now. So always happy to fade the Wild here, especially at plus odds to miss the playoffs.
I'm happy to fade the Wild, but I don't think that I can endorse that opinion right now. I mean, I know, the dead cap space hurts a lot, but what's his name? The GM, I can't think of his name at the moment. He's a pretty good GM. He's doing a lot of good work maneuvering around the terrible cap hits of those buyouts. But I don't know. I think the Wild could be a spicy team here. I don't know if I'm betting them to do anything, but I'm not fading them. I'm pretty much just staying away. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if they make the playoffs, even fairly high up. I think that they have a good chance of passing the Jets this year. We'll see about that. But again, no bets on the Wild. One more thing, I keep for the last 3 shows, I've been meaning to bring this up, but you remember the Euro series where we the teams that go to Europe in the middle of the season, like November, December, whenever they go.
Yeah. Who's doing that this year? Is it Winnipeg?
Unfortunately, it's teams that I'm high on, so I can't. So here's the thing. Last year, it was in November, so the season's already going on, so they got to break up the routine of being in the season, then go over. This year, there's 2 teams playing before the season starts, and those are the Devils and the Sabres, I want to say. And that's like so they only have to deal with coming back. So I'm hopeful, because I like those teams, at least the Sabres for Lindy Ruff to get the Jack Adams, and the Devils for multitude of reasons. But hopefully that mitigates the damage of the Europe trip. And the other 2 teams are the Panthers and the Stars. And I've got some Stars bets. Nothing on the Panthers yet. But go back to the point here. The Wild suffered so much last year, in part because of that Europe trip. Like, they actually had a good start to the season, but they totally fell apart afterwards. They ended up firing their coach like a week or 2 after coming back. And then the Sabres, who else played? The Senators, they lost their coach. The Leafs, they lost their coach. The Red Wings, they didn't lose their coach, and they actually nearly made the playoffs. So the Red Wings are the only one of the 4 that actually exceeded their point total. And it's a nice fade. Maybe I'll have to fade the Panthers now, just to have something to capitalize on this angle, because I do think that it's worth looking into. But so unfortunately nothing relevant here, but that's just one excuse I can give to the Wild for how poorly they played it after because they went to the Europe, like they lost a few games in a row, and then they went to Europe and it did absolutely nothing for them. So that was a catalyst for their destruction of their season.
Yeah, the Sabres Devils playing on the 4th and the 5th, about a week before the season actually starts. But yeah, November 1st and 2nd for Dallas and Florida in Finland there. So yeah, maybe fade the Panthers. I mean, I don't think we're particularly high on them. Maybe they finally have that Stanley Cup hangover after we thought they'd have last year. But yeah, definitely
a lot of games.
Good point there. Good point there with the European stuff. You're also feeding someone else in this division, right?
Of course, the St. Louis Blues. I mean, let's go pick 6. What is that? A fumble return? Oh man, the Bombers have been struggling, but looks like we got a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Thank God. Yeah, the St. Louis Blues. Well, no surprise here. You might as well just listen to every podcast I've done for the last 2 years. No surprise here. Blues continue to get too much respect. So yeah, the point total is 87.5. Something in that range. Again, low 80s, I think, is where they're at. They have a great forward group, a lot of young guys coming up, a lot of skill. But on the back end, it's just very bleak, even with the addition of Philip Broberg, who, again, didn't even crack the Oilers lineup for the Star Series. So that just shows that he's not exactly the savior, even though he'll be playing top 4 minutes on the back end for the Blues, because that's how bad their defensive core is. And they lost Torrey Krug as well. You know, he hasn't been great in a while, but still, that's another body. That's another veteran presence that they're losing there. He might be done for the whole season in his career potentially. Mm-hmm. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I just don't like the Blues at all. And they would finish like what up. I lost the bet by like a point or something, 2 points.
Oh, yeah, they were too good for too long. They were fucking spoilers at the end.
Yeah.
92 points left.
That was based on Jordan Binnington was a top 3 goalie last year. I don't think he's gonna be a top 3 goalie 2 years in a row. So I don't think that's quite repetitive, sustainable. So we're going to fade the Blues once again. They got the same point totals last year. I don't think that they're any better, and they'll get a little worse luck this time around, I hope. And they also had a nice little that get bounce in there. The new coach bounce with Drew Branster coming in for Craig Berube in the middle of the season as well, where they did have some success for a bit. But yeah, once again, the Blues missed playoffs are again going in multiple parlays, and of course the under 87.5 points.
Yeah, Blues to miss playoffs is minus 175 on BetMGM, which is way off. It's as high as 255 on DraftKings. You can get them to make the playoffs at plus 205. There's a 30-cent overlay between miss the playoffs and make the playoffs. So if you have BetMGM, go hammer that minus 175. It's a good price there. Minus 194 is the second best on FanDuel, and then minus 220 on ESPN and Bet365. I'm glad you brought up.
I only got like minus 200, minus 210. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought up Bannister though, because I was thinking about fading the Blues. I mean, I saw that price, so I'm going to. But like, the Blues had a good record under him. I'm trying to find what it was. It's not on his Wikipedia page for some reason, but I don't know if that's just the dead cap bounce or something they can keep up. But I also don't think the market has reacted properly to the Krug news, because I think he could be done for his career. I forget exactly what it was, but it does seem like something pretty serious.
Yeah, the Blues do have a lot of youth coming up, but again, not a lot of defensive prospects.
It's pre-arthritic changes in left ankle for Torrey Krug.
Okay, that doesn't sound good.
Not great.
No, not for a guy who typically relies on his good skating. Yeah, it's we're once again fading the Blues probably all season long.
I thought you were going to fade the Jets though. That's a team I was.
I got a nice number on them to miss the playoffs, but no, I haven't bet anything else. Like, I think I don't know. They're like the same team, except without Rick Bowness, and we'll see how much that affects them. But at current numbers, I don't want to really get too involved with the Jets either way.
Yeah, minus 162 is the best for them to miss the playoffs.
If I get a nice plus number,
or to make the playoffs, yeah.
A wild make the playoffs, or a wild over Jets points matchup, that'd be nice. You want those alternate point totals? I want matchups between teams so you can bet the one against the other.
I've seen some player head-to-head season totals. So I mean, team total points are next, hopefully. All right, we are brought to you by Rhythm. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? SGPN's proud partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and prop. You can simplify your betting process for college football kickoff this weekend. I've been using Rhythm for golf and the WNBA all summer, and we just built models so I can know exactly what to bet on in some of the random games of opening weekend. I've been never been more excited to watch Delaware State football in my life, thanks to Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And of course, make sure you get your tickets with Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. App features are great. You got customize your spot. App features like last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, views from all the seats in the venue. So make sure you check out Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, let's go over to the Eastern Conference here, starting with the Metro. Joel, let me take a water break here. Take it away.
Yeah, it's the team I mentioned earlier. I wanted to look at in the worst record, the Washington Capitals. Much like the Blues, this is a team that I thought were fairly big fugazis. I think that they even worse than the Blues, I think, because they made the playoffs and there was love for Spencer Carberry twin Jack Adams at the end of the year, despite like a minus 400 goal differential. Yeah, this team is not good. It's a miracle that they made the playoffs, and a lot of it had to do with the Flyers falling apart at the end of the season. The Penguins just unable to capitalize on their power play. And what happened to the Atlantic? I guess the Red Wings falling off a bit. But yeah, the Capitals were the beneficiaries of everyone else struggling. And then they just kept plugging away and winning all these one-goal games, and they're getting blown out by all the good teams. So actually, they had the toughest schedule at the end of the season. I remember that. That was another reason why I was fading them at the end. But they broke our hearts there, making the playoffs somehow. But thankfully, Carberry did not win the Jack Adams. Yeah, the Capitals here, their point total is like 88.5, 89.5. And the Islanders are getting bet up, so it's kind of getting corrected by now. But if you still find that 88.5, 89.5 on the Islanders, this is again one of those point total matches I would wish existed. Where you can get the Islanders versus the Capitals. That'd be a good bet. Or you just bet them individually. Islanders over, Capitals under. That's what I've done. I do not like the Capitals at all, despite the addition of Pierre-Luc Dubois. I don't think that moves the needle at all. He hasn't been a good player in years. He had his worst season last year. So I think just expecting him to come in there and suddenly turn into, the fringe Selke player that he was in Columbus years ago, I think it's asking a lot. So Capitals under for sure. Again, Charlie Lindgren took, he had a significant leap last year. He was good in St. Louis as well, but his best season for sure in Washington, he became the number one starter. That's why they got rid of Darcy Kemper. But just asking him to do that again, just carrying this team to 90 points or 90 through 92, 93, 94 points, whatever they ended up with last year, is not going to happen again. I think that this is, again, like a low 80s, mid 80s team at best. So yeah, I love fading this team. I just defensively, they got no talent. Like Rasmus Sandin's playing like 26 minutes a game. I don't know. There's not a lot there. John Carlson, another year another year under his tires, another year for Ovi's tires. It's looking pretty bleak there. They're getting old. No Kuznetsov as well. I mean, he wasn't great last year, but still, he's a decent second line center. So yeah, I just don't like this team at all. They have some talent going forward, much like the Blues. There's a lot of parallels here, but for this season, they're going to be too young yet. So Capitals under all the way.
I was trying to find either a way to either buy or sell the Capitals a little, but like I feel like they could just as easily go either way. Not confident enough to take their over points, not confident enough to only take plus 180 for them to to make the playoffs. No, yeah, Pierre-Luc Dubois is not going to be a Selke candidate, but we've seen Dylan Strome go from a 50-point player to a 65-point player there in the top 6. They got Jacob Chikrin. They brought in Logan Thompson, I think, to help out the tandem in net with Charlie Lindgren. So yeah, I feel like if I had to pick a side, I would fade them, but there's enough there where I'm like, okay, maybe they can make one more run here with OV. So I'm gonna stay away from the Capitals.
That's another thing. Like they're not looking at the team success; they're just looking to get Ovi as goals. So I think that'll hurt the team success, but it'll help his individual success, and that's another reason why I look to fade the team.
Yeah, I don't really have much else here in the Metro. I fading the Penguins, but like the Capitals, I feel like they could be on a decent run. Just did trade for Rudder McGrady from the Jets, who didn't want to sign there. The Penguins traded their first round pick from the either this year's draft or last year's draft. I think last year's
year before. Braden Yeager.
Yeah, Braden Yeager there. So yeah, the Rutger McGrady is going to probably play second line wing here. Daily Faceoff has him projected at. So I could see that being a decent top 6, but also they're one injury away if either of Crosby or Malkin get hurt of, not doing too well. Carlson, I could see doing well in his second year there. He did have a better second half than first half. They picked up Matt Grzelcyk from Boston. So I don't know if I'm clouded by my Flyers bias, but I just feel like the Metro has so much volatility just throughout the whole division.
Volatility?
Yeah, like the Islanders, Capitals, Penguins, Flyers are all kind of in the same. Yeah, maybe they make it, maybe they won't. Like their odds are all kind of around the same to make the playoffs.
I think it's the Atlantic that's got the volatility myself. I think these are. If I had to make a list of the order of how these teams finish, it would pretty much be entirely like the order of the odds here: Devils, Hurricanes, Rangers, back and forth, whatever, and then Islanders, Penguins, Capitals, Flyers, Blue Jackets.
I mean, yeah, even the odds for the division here kind of show it. Like the Devils are plus 240, Hurricanes, Rangers both plus 280. There's a clear top 3, but then the next 4 are between 13-1 and 20-1. So it's just it's like a bunch of 3 good teams and then a bunch together of like 4 fringe teams, and like it's hard to take a firm stance on any of them right now. I think for me at least.
Yeah. So yeah, you'd be looking at I don't know how you'd play that again. You want those alt point totals.
Yeah.
But
or like
the teams you like make the playoffs. I don't know if you like the Flyers.
I mean, yeah, I put out I said the Flyers case to make the playoffs last show. Like, yeah, 20-1 for the division though it isn't good enough. None of the teams to make the playoffs. I mean, the Flyers are the highest at 2-1. So they're all kind of in the not touching that for when it's not going to potentially pay out for 6-7 months.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not really getting an avenue to attack this volatility you see with these teams. But for me, I don't. I've got.
I guess the best thing I could do is like Ovi, Rocket Richard, Crosby, Hart. I saw someone talk about Crosby for. Did you see the Athletic like long shot award article came out today?
No.
Someone mentioned Crosby. Someone mentioned Bedard for Rocket Richard.
I bet that.
Someone said Martin St. Louis for Jack Adams. We're all over that. They must have listened to our show Wednesday. So
last year was Crosby's year. It should have been Crosby.
Yeah.
If they only had a frickin' PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm. You have anything else for the Metro? Or should we switch over to the Atlantic?
Honestly, I don't even have anything for the Atlantic. So I have no idea which team to fade in the Atlantic. I guess the Panthers now. We've got to keep up the Euro trip angle.
The Atlantic kind of, it is similar. It has the top, the top 2, Florida, Toronto, and the odds. Then Boston and Tampa, and then the group of Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, and like we're kind of in on Montreal. We kind of like Montreal to not necessarily make the playoffs, but they're gonna not be necessarily the 7th in the basement there. The one I was looking at is maybe Ottawa to miss at -125. That's the best odds out there for Detroit, Buffalo, or -150, -200. Also, maybe under 90.5 points there. They only had 78 last year. I know trading for Allmark's going to help them, but I don't know. It's just the Senators always seem to just underperform.
They give way too much respect to the Senators this year. I don't know why their points total is higher this year after last year. I don't know. Who has confidence now?
It has to be Allmark, right?
I guess, but they had the market had belief in Korpisalo last year. He totally disappointed. Allmark, he wasn't. He was like hit or miss in Buffalo, and then he went to the Bruins. And he was awesome. Like it's like the Patriots back in the day. You know, like all these shitty players went to the Patriots. They were great. Oh, we got to get this guy. Patriots release him. Somebody else signs him. He's terrible. It's going to be the same thing, I think. I don't think Allmark is going to be nearly as good in Ottawa as he was in Boston. Certainly, he's not winning another Vezina in Ottawa. Anyway, I forgot. I do have a team to fade here. It's the Detroit Red Wings. They're just right behind the Senators there, and I don't see anything that they've done that's made them better, whereas everyone else in their range, like I guess the Sabres haven't really got better, but you expect players like Tage Thompson to take another step forward after a bad year last year. And actually, I don't want to talk about the Sabres right now, but the Red Wings are minus 150 I got for them to miss the playoffs. I think that's a great bet, considering they're going to be right in the mix with all these other guys. I think Canadians will be pressing for the playoffs. I mean, that's my favorite bet for the Canadians to make up all that ground on these other teams. I think they're pretty much as good as the other ones. Senators, Red Wings, Sabres. I wouldn't exclude Canadians from that mix. And look at them. They're 100-1 to win the division. These other teams are around 15-1. That's not right to me. So yeah, it's more just pro Canadians, but Red Wings, I don't like what they got rid of. Wasn't a great defender, but a decent defender, Jake Wallman, just to get some cap space off, because Steve Yzerman continues to go crazy in these free agent spending sprees and not get much by way of return. So yeah, again, Red Wings do have a lot of talent in the prospect pipeline and all that, but I like the division too much. I think that they are stagnant. I don't think that last year too, like you look at their XG numbers, they've far exceeded them in terms of their performance and the results. So yeah, the Red Wings are another big fade. Like they were like a bottom 5 or 6 team in some categories last year. If you look at the advanced analytics,
they were bottom 4 expected goals 4%.
Yeah, there you go. So they had a crazy shooting percentage, much like the Canucks did early in the year, and the goaltending as well. Played above their level. So yeah, big fan of the Red Wings. I don't mind that Senators play either, because they are also getting too much respect here. I don't understand it. I think the Canadians can a leak problem both, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, Red Wings to miss minus 150. I feel like is a good call there. I was going to bring up the goaltending. I mean, they brought in Talbot, but he's 37 now. They'll probably run again with 3 goalies with Talbot, Husso, and Alex Lyon, but you can't trust any of those 3, maybe even those 3 combined, to be as good as some of the other goalies in this division even. So, and yeah, last year, expected goals 4/60. Detroit had the 4th lowest, and expected goals against per 60, they had the 7th highest. So they're due for some major regression there. And yeah, I don't think adding Tarasenko, bringing back Kane is gonna solve anything. Still have to sign Raymond and Moritz Seider too as well. So could be some disagreements. Maybe there's some contract negotiation going on that could get some disagreements in the locker room or whatnot. And yeah, they're defensemen, all just a bunch of washed up guys. Ben Chariot, Justin Hall, Oli Mata, Jeff Petrie, Eric Gustafson. Then they got the 21-year-old Simon Edvinsson, but
Moritz Seider
washed up. Yeah. So yeah, send Red Wings, 2 teams to fade there in the Atlantic.
I'll actually, if you want a first coach fired tip when these markets come out, I'm going to be looking at Jeff Blashill for Detroit. I think that his time is nearing its end. I don't think that Stevie Y's patience with him will last forever.
Could they bring Babcock back? Babcock back to Detroit?
Yeah, right. I'd love that.
Coach Q maybe could go from Chicago to Detroit.
No, I hate that. I love Coach Q. I do not want him in Detroit. Don't do that to me.
I didn't realize Blashill's been there since 2015.
Exactly. He's due.
Yeah, that's a good tip. So check his odds whenever those open. Mauricio, anything else here you want to discuss before you go watch the second half of the Bombers game?
Well, you know what's next week? We got the start of the U.S. Open on honestly, I don't have any crazy good reads on this tournament. It's kind of all over the place. I've been betting like so many women to win it, so I've got like 8 or 9 different girls. I've got bets on, even at pretty short numbers too. So yeah, it could be disastrous for me if someone like Coco Gauff wins it all. Of course, that's who we were on last year, and thankfully she did win it all. But she's been in terrible form, so mostly a fate of her and Rybakina, unfortunately, my girl. And Iga, I've got some bets on her, but she's not in the best headspace right now. So it's like I got a couple parlays with her great numbers on her bets earlier in the year. But so that's why I've been betting other girls. But yeah, Mira Andreeva, I think that's the best one. Current numbers like 25, 30 to 1. Jessica Pegula, they're both in the same quarter with Iga too. So whoever wins quarter one, I really hope wins the whole thing. Yeah, and the men's side, Yannick Sinner is apparently it's funny. Zverev is my guy, but I bet him at 16 to 1. He's down like 8 to 1. I don't know if I can do anything with that. Djokovic at 2 to 1 or so. His easy draw is okay. But anyway, it's funny how tennis has worked for me. Like my 3 favorite tennis players, at least on the men's side, are they're all like heels in the tennis community. Not even by design by me. Sasha Zverev, because he won German for gold Olympics and he's German, Russian German. And then turns out he beats his woman, so everyone hates him. And then there's Yannick Sinner, who got caught with doping or something, even though it's like a billionth of a gram or something crazy small. And everyone hates him because everyone thinks he's just doping, like nobody else is doing the same thing. And then Novak Djokovic, who, of course, smacks balls at the tennis lines people and doesn't want to get vaccinated. So all these people are the 3 heels of the tennis world, all my favorite tennis players. So it's funny how that's worked out. But yeah, anyway.
Is Alcaraz like the golden boy then? Does everyone love him?
Yeah, everyone loves Alcaraz for sure. Everyone loves Sinner before this doping thing came out too. But yeah, it's hopefully, I don't know. I'm cheering for Djokovic have a strong end of the season and all that. But Zverev and Sinner are my bets. I mean, I bet Sinner before this whole doping thing, so I don't love that. And yeah, women's side, Mira Andreeva, Jessica Pegula, I guess, but. I got so many bets on the women's side. It's typically just like pray one of them doesn't lose. Like, so I won't be crushed.
Oh, yeah, we'll keep getting your takes on that next week as we continue with. Not sure what we're going to be doing next week. Maybe start with our team previews. Have you started looking at like making your rankings and your ratings?
I got 4 teams done so far. I haven't done the full ratings yet, but yeah, I guess in a couple weeks we need to start doing it. We got to time them because. We'll probably do 2 per episode, so that's 16 episodes, and start of the season is October 3rd in Europe.
Yeah, so we got just over a month here. So yeah, we'll definitely get those going. Maybe a few wild card, see what we got for next week, but we will definitely be live for those. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube, subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. Follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. Yeah, I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And I'm Joel Martin. You'll find me sharing a tip: corporate power to win in the 13th race at Saratoga tomorrow. Let's get some horse racing going. You know, after that swimming got me all excited for these quick 1 minute sweats, 30-second sweats. We got some horse racing going on to ease me back in. It's like the nicotine for smokers. So yeah, let's get some racing going. Corporate power, baby, Saratoga.
See ya.